Okay, here we are. We're back in Very Good Tarot. This is a series that we do where we just look at the tarot in a very good way, because nothing is really all that bad in the tarot for that long at least, because things always just tend to cycle back in on themselves. So if it's bad, it'll be good soon. If it's good, it'll be bad. So you just kind of have to just take things step by step as we go up the ladder of being from fair to excellent, which leads to success. So we're going to just pull out a few cards. Three cards is what we normally do, and we just try to rearrange them and see what we can put together, and it's usually very good. So if you see, wherever you see this, you can take a moment and think, hey, like, well, what are some unknown things I can find out from this here? You could use this as an opportunity, and this goes for like the older videos too. So if you've seen this for the first time, you're like, "Wow, what are the older videos? What are the older videos like?" They all still contain these um, unlocked, balls of potential. So you can go in and kind of do the same thing. Ask yourself a question, see what can come of it. So let's get a card here and see. Plenty. That's pretty good. That's a good card. That's excellent in my opinion, because really what it's saying is that you've got more than you need. So three cups. That's more than what your two hands can hold. So you've got too much, plenty. So a lot of that. Like it seems good, right? Like that, it's like all right, well we got enough, but then you have the problem of dealing with all the excess, right? So those are the kind of cyclic hidden challenges of dealing with these positive things, or just like really the hidden energies in the tarot. Ooh, conflict. See, that's not very good, right? We're gonna just put that on the other end. And do one last card here. We'll put it right in the center. Creation. Oh, this is. Oh, look at this. This is cool. We've got a nice pattern. 3, 4, 5. Oh, wow. Look at that. Okay, so 5, 4, 3. So with conflict, uh, gives way to creation, which is a very natural order. That's sort of why like they're ordered that way in the tarot, right? Each suit kind of has its cycle that builds in on itself, and all that, and it leads to that abundance, right? Just having like just a little bit more than enough that you can carry, right? Two hands. If your two hands are full, you got that third thing. You can't really carry it, not unless you have some sort of creative mechanism. Maybe like, oh, I got a backpack. Okay, well that's great. I can hold these two things in my hand, and I've got a backpack, and I'll put the rest in my backpack, or bag, or something. Just be able to carry that in some other way that is creative for creation. It's very good. So conflict, right? Conflict, limitation, that sort of thing is the mother of invention. That's the really interesting thing about creativity when you're dealing with art in a, like a social, economic perspective, right? So art is it's part of like culture, right? It almost builds culture. You could say that. But within that culture is, there's all these limitations, like the economics, your resources, like what's available to you, quite literally. Like if you're doing music and you want to put on a show, but you've got no venue, there's no concert hall to rent, or you literally live in an area that doesn't really have the proper venue to, show, put on that event. Like, well, what do? You got to get creative. So, well, maybe you build a stage in a field and have it there, something like that, right? Some sort of extreme solution, but you have to be creative in order to make that happen. So that's just like one example of like how you would overcome like a limitation, and that's just kind of how it works. You can extrapolate that in any way you want. Limitation, conflict, problems breed creation. That's it. And that's the way it is. And some say that without some sort of conflict, you can't really be all that creative. Or you could say that what you do create comes from like a place of, like too much comfort. You know, that sort of thing. If you think about it, like you have to kind of really go through something dark to really produce something that has the ability to shine. You know, uh, that's sort of the, like, almost a story like metaphor, like the hero has to go through the hero's journey, experience something um, profound uh, from the depths of his soul, of their soul, and go through like this dramatic change and overcome all these problems to really shine at the end. And in a way, that is not far from the truth of how, you know, really good art can be created. Is it comes from a dark place to reveal the positive elements of the human condition afterwards. We got plenty, so well, I mean, let's like rearrange this a bit. I mean, in conflict, you could have all your resources taken away from you, and again, you have to be creative to make that thing. And in a way, you could start the other way around and have plenty. Go through and try to be creative with all those resources, but then you end up with conflict, and that's kind of an interesting thing as well. Pardon me. So if you look back to music, I've got a music history, by the way, so that's why I talk about music. Is that when you see those artists on their career arc, when they've been when they've got to a point where they're really successful, they have all this money, right? Because they've been successful, they've gone on tours, and they've done all that. They have a lot of experience, so they have plenty of resources. The creative, when they go to be creative, it becomes challenging, right? And then they end up in this sort of like conflict with their audience, and the audience goes like, I don't feel your art anymore, your music. It just doesn't resonate because it doesn't come from a place of conflict, right? That period of time of trying to solve all these problems, right? Like the early albums of a lot of your favorite artists, groups, bands, what have you, their first few albums are typically always like remarkable. They're always really good because they come from this place of like disparity in a way, or like the artist they're just starting out, so they're not known, they're not successful yet. They're trying really hard. They're trying to be creative so that they can be successful, and the music is reflective of that energy. But as soon as they spend a while, they get successful, right? The media likes them, they're popular, all that. Things tend to like stagnate a bit. It happens. So if it's reordered in that way, that kind of makes sense too, and you get your very good tarot reading. So there you have it, and I'll see you in the next video.